Hi, and welcome. I'm Bruce. This is Speed Kolor. On today's episode, we sit down with Jenn and Kenny Kwan of Ill-Fated Kustoms. Ill-Fated Kustoms is a great little custom and maintenance shop here in Calgary. And Jenn and Kenny have done a really good job of integrating into the motorcycle community. They're a couple of my favorites. I hope you enjoy the conversation we have with them. I will apologize in advance. You will notice a little bit of glitchiness on the mics, on the audio on this recording. First time on the road, what can I tell you? We ran into a couple technical difficulties, but we're working hard to overcome it. All the audio is here, the quality is good, just get a little bit of volume fluctuation. I hope you'll be able to work through it, and I hope you'll be patient with us as we work to sort these things out. So thanks for being here. Now let's get to the conversation.
All right. Welcome to the Speed Kolor podcast and YouTube. My name is Mac, and I'm with my host here, Bruce, and we are at a local shop of ours that I'm very familiar with using in the past and still ongoing in the future, called Ill-Fated Kustoms, and we'll be interviewing Kenny and Jenn, both the owners from Ill-Fated Kustoms. So realistically, where I'd like to start off with you guys is, like, you guys are a staple in the community here, in the motorcycle community for Calgary. Where did the name come from and the story start from for Ill-Fated Kustoms?
That's a you thing.
Well, long story short, I got into riding in 2007, and then unfortunately 2 years later, I got in a really bad crash with an oncoming Jeep.
Oh, wow.
The driver was heavily impaired and he turned left across my path. And I T-boned him. I don't remember a thing still today of that crash, but and it was my first bike, and I loved it to death. 2007 Triumph Bonneville. And that crash really destroyed it and nearly killed me.
Jeez.
So I was very, very torn, and I wanted to rebuild the bike, but it wasn't worth it, obviously. So I decided to, maybe the motor's still good. I'm gonna pull the motor out, and I'm gonna try building a bobber, a rigid frame kind of chopper. And then, I found a frame, and then I was just looking around, and like within Canada, there weren't many companies actually selling aftermarket parts, like tail light, handlebars, all these custom bits. And I realized all these companies are out of the States. So me and my buddy started an online business, and the name Ill-Fated Kustoms, like Ill-Fated for pay respects to that night. For how bad it was, it kind of shaped and pushed me to build this bike. So that's how the name formed, and that's how it all began. Because I just graduated from university from engineering, and it'd be 2 months after the crash happened, so it really detoured my engineering career.
Absolutely, it did.
So those are the origins of how it all started and how the name came about.
So then, before you got into this accident, and once again, thankfully you're okay and you're still with us, and you've created something amazing. So congratulations on that. But
Thanks.
Before that happened, did you have experience with building motorcycles? Were you a mechanic already?
Not motorcycles, but like automotive, like old cars. I was also part of the SE Baja team in university.
Cool.
So I was the fabrication manager for that. So the premise of that, you design your own car, chassis, suspension, like how you want it to look ultimately and function. So I've always been very hands-on in the fabrication aspect. Like in engineering, you learn all the technical side of welding, all the manufacturing processes. So it was very easy for me to apply it through my hands.
So are you a pretty decent welder?
I would say so, yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Do you TIG aluminum?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Stainless,
God
mild
bless
steel, aluminum. Yeah. So I mean, stuff like that, you know, from learning from friends and just understanding the technical side of it.
Yeah.
It makes you weld a certain way too. And then just to get the actual hands-on feedback, you figure out how to do a safe and good-looking weld. So,
I will tell you,
yeah.
when you're 55, that is not the time to start learning how to weld, right?
Oh, no.
I wish I had done it at your age, but I'm doing it. I'm doing my best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stuff
We're
that's
trying.
really critical, I bring
Yeah.
to guys like you.
Yeah.
But the stuff that
Stuff that's
we can
seen.
get away with, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like that tragically hip song. Gord Downey sings, "I can't draw, but I can trace."
Oh,
And
yeah.
I always say, "I can't weld, but I can grind." Right? So there you go.
I mean, I think a lot of people do that though, so.
Yeah. And then, you know, like even on the welding aspect through the shop, you see a lot of bad welds that come through it. And
Right.
I mean, the way a weld looks is just one factor for integrity. Because we see good looking welds fail too. You know,
Yeah.
penetration. So,
Yeah. Cool.
but for a
Amazing.
motorcycle, it's got to be safe, right?
Absolutely.
Too much risk.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was thinking about it the other day, getting ready for this, and I'm sure that motorcycle is probably being picked up on our microphones, but that's totally okay.
We are in a live shop.
It proves that we are at Ill-Fated doing this. Yeah. I was thinking back, and when I first visited Ill-Fated Customs, you guys were in a shop around the corner
Yeah.
here, sharing a building with an art studio.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of.
They were our neighbors, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we actually started in our single car garage back
Okay.
in, 2010 or
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
So-
09 the first year? Was that the year? that
Online
you-
was like right away.
Yeah.
Even before I was really working on anything. But yeah, the first shop setup was in.
We had a little condo downtown
Yeah.
on 14th Street.
Really?
Yeah, and it literally was the only garage in that condo building. Well, there was two, one on either side.
Yeah.
And people would come to the garage to buy helmets and all that sort
Oh,
of
wow.
stuff. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't know
Now,
that.
the online store, is it still going?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot on it. Honestly, it's just our own merch and that sort of stuff. But back in the day, we did mostly put
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff on there.
Because a lot of the hard goods
Yeah.
we either have here
Yeah.
or we can get them
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
quick.
Yeah.
So online, yeah, like we list our suppliers. So you know, if people are interested in getting something from them, they just reach out and I can get it here like next day or maybe within a week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say though, thinking back to those days when I first found you guys,
Yeah.
and the focus then, as I remember the shop, was really on custom builds. You were really doing the custom thing.
Yeah.
I look at your shop here now with a lot more space, different setup, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I see you doing more maintenance and maybe accessory installations, that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to ask you guys, how has the business evolved? Has it actually shifted to more maintenance? And I imagine that's a revenue-based decision that, customs is a tough way. I don't care if it's hot rods, motorcycles, whatever. Doing custom work is a tough way to make a living. So how has the business evolved, and where do you see it going in the future? Where going forward, what happens?
So yeah, I mean, it started with custom builds, or in other words, my Triumph builds. So that's what started it all. And that's how the next few, because after my first builds, I would get friends asking for help, working on their builds, and then friends of friends, and then to people I didn't even know. So then people started asking, like still in my garage, right? They're asking like, hey, can I get a service on my whatever? And I'm thinking, yeah, why not, right? That's the easy work. But you know, the basis of a good build and restoration is the bike mechanically needs to be up to par and safe and worthwhile too, right? Because you don't just pull the motor out of something and you start building on top of it, and then at the end of it, you find out the motor is completely no good. So you got to start from the mechanical basis and make sure that's all good.
Yeah.
So in a way, like the premise of Ill-Fated is that we cover everything motorcycle, even scooters.
Yeah.
Like we do a lot of custom builds, you know, and restorations too, and even more so with every passing year. Like we're still working on builds that have been queued up from over a year ago. So there is a backlog for that kind of work. But you know, maintenance and repair, I think, is still very important to even help others to get their build going.
Yeah, well, it sounds like the basis around the business is customs. Obviously, that's in your name, so that's where you guys gain your inspiration from, your motivation from. But obviously, you have to diversify because, you know, I got a custom bike, you got a custom bike. We all got custom bikes pretty much, and we all understand that it's a time process.
Totally.
So it makes sense that you have to diversify yourselves and supplement for, you know, this bike is going to take a year, this bike is going to take 6 months, so what are we going to do in those months that we're building it and not in getting
that's it, because we're in Canada, we only have a short riding season.
100%.
So you got to fit in the service stuff while you can,
100%.
you know.
Thank God for that short riding season, so we have lots of time to build,
You know, get that money in while you can, and then over the winter is when we kind of work on the long-term projects and restorations and stuff.
Right.
But I think the goal will always be to stick with custom. And maybe I'm speaking out of line, but the goal will always be to hopefully just be doing customs down the road.
I mean, that is the ultimate.
Like, slow down just a little.
Yeah.
After a few years.
Of course.
So I'd say that would be the pinnacle of of a motorcycle shop.
Yeah.
If you can just purely do custom builds and even restorations.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I say, all the service work and the repair work is more streamlined in a way. Like it's all by the book. You have specs to fulfill, and in a way it's easier. And there's more work of that too. So you know, guys coming in. Yeah. I got 2 loose rims. Can you put some tires on there? Like sure, right?
Absolutely.
Well, and as I say, it doesn't really matter whether it's race cars or hot rods or motorcycles. The custom shops that manage to make a living just on doing custom work are pretty rare. It let's be honest, in this country, it just doesn't pay. In California, maybe you can get away with that. It just doesn't seem to work here.
The culture is just not here yet.
Right.
Yet.
Yet
That
is the
doesn't
key.
But you're working on it.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, from like, I know Bruce has been coming to you guys for years. I know I came to you guys when you were actually in your other building is when I first came to you guys. And you guys have always been able to cultivate a vibe. Like you, ever since there where you guys hosted your first Kickstarter show, and it was in the art studio, I was like, this is cool.
Like you guys are. I missed that show on the art show. I thought that was pretty neat.
It was a unique.
It was super cool.
That was awesome.
It was a unique atmosphere.
It really was.
We might still revisit it with
we would
Christine
love to. Yeah,
there, so
they're awesome, and
changing it up over the years, and see what
Like-
feels better, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did the inspiration come from to create this vision that you guys have built, though? That's
Like the
where,
vision?
Yeah, because like this is
vision?
it's unique. There's no other shop in the city or that I've even been to that hold the aesthetic that you guys do to this day. So
I think that's an easy answer. See, the shop, the shop, and everything we do. It's just an extension of what we personally
Yeah.
love. So the way it looks, you know, we love all this old stuff.
I mean, this is what our house looks like, honestly. This is legit what our house looks
I love it.
No, if this
literally-
booth fit in our house, it'd be in
It
there right
would be in
now.
our house. Yeah. We actually measured it because I had a spot, but it was too big.
Yeah.
So it comes here. And we spend so much time here. Honestly, sometimes we work 18-hour days
Yeah.
because we have the other space too that I'm sure we'll talk about. But I mean, we want it to feel comfortable.
Well, and it was funny because
Yeah.
when we got here today and you said, you know, go ahead and take a look around
Yeah.
and see where you want to set up.
Yeah.
And I walked back here and I said to Mac, the metal flake booth,
Oh, yeah.
that's got to be
I
it,
know.
right? That's where we need to sit down.
This is original. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's a
It's
Facebook
great.
market find. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, I guess for me, the other thing I got thinking is, you appear to be using your space very well. Maybe don't quite have enough for the shop. You got this whole Prairie Emporium thing going on that is just fantastic. The vibe, you're hosting all kinds of events. And you've got the storefront that, again, it's got that feel to it. The only place I've seen with a similar feel is Perth County Moto in Stratford, Ontario. And
Yeah.
it's very similar. But you got all this going on, but the store is too small, and
Yeah.
this space could be bigger, and the shop could be bigger. Where do we go from here? What's the plan? Is,
Oh, we're
is
not
this
going any
it,
bigger.
or-
We're not going any bigger.
No?
No. I mean, I say that, and then it's
No, I think size-wise, like footprint-wise,
Yeah.
if we're going to go anywhere, like maybe a bit smaller. I mean, for the type of work we do, it's like very specialized hands on board. And funnily enough, like everyone that works here, we didn't reach out to by coincidence, I guess. But these guys here now are they can execute the work the way it needs to be. So you know, pretty small team, Jen and I, and just three guys working for us. So I think size-wise, I don't think
yeah. I
anything
don't think
bigger.
we'll ever go bigger.
This is it.
This is it.
Location? Would you ever change location, or do you like?
This spot's
work
really
for
nice.
you?
I mean,
Yeah.
if they bumped the rent up, I mean,
Everybody
see.
did.
but it's a great spot right on the corner,
Yeah.
53rd and 3rd, and lots of light all day, south-facing. So
Yeah.
the big bay doors and busy, but not super busy, like for
Traffic and stuff.
Right.
criminal
Oh,
activities.
criminal activities.
So I mean, no, we like to stay here till
I think our goal is
Till the
to
end.
really stay here until we're ready to slow down. That's
Okay.
our goal.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys touched on the team that you guys have here a little bit, and I've also noticed that you've pretty much retained the same team from when I first started coming here, probably in 2014-ish
Yeah.
kind of time frame. So
Yeah.
I believe that speaks very highly to your character as individuals and how you run the business going forward. Because you know, I've ran a few businesses in my lifetime, and it's not always easy to retain the good staff that you
No.
have employed over a long period of time.
No,
so
it's not.
it's important, and I believe that just adds on to you two as individuals and as a business.
Yeah.
It just shows that you're doing the right stuff for the community and the people that are working for you. So good job on that.
Thank you, yeah.
Thanks.
Well, we
Absolutely.
don't want to hire anybody. We don't trust anybody else.
Totally. Totally.
This is
Well,
it. We can only give it out so much.
100%.
They know all our secrets. They leave us. They're, yeah, they need to, they're,
Right on.
But they've actually become our family too.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
like Jordan, who was our first employee ever. He
Yeah.
has a son. We have a son. They're best friends. I mean, it's kind of amazing. We all go camping together. My mom always says, "Aren't you guys like sick of each other?" I'm like, I don't like. No, we're not. I don't know. We all just love each other. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
That's great.
Well, and that that sense of community, that bonding.
yeah.
Your bike nights, it seems to me, I read about them in the magazine, they're on the website, so much, and we're going to talk about a lot of other things here, but so much has stemmed from bike nights.
Yeah.
That seems to be a real core. It reflects you guys like the place does, right? And Wednesday nights, seeing this place full of people and everybody having a good time, and there's a huge element of trust, I must say. But everything works. Everybody is respectful and
I
appreciates
think so.
it.
Yeah.
What happens with bike nights going forward? What's the plan for 2024?
I don't know. Actually, well, if that, it'll be year 12 of bike nights if we
Yeah.
Well,
keep it going.
Is it year 12? Yeah, it is.
Because it
12.
started
Yeah.
very casually, just
Yeah.
me asking 3 buddies, hey, let's go for a ride and grab dinner somewhere. Because there's that A&W bike night on 16th and 4th, I think,
Yep.
on Thursday nights. And I think back in 2006, 7-ish, I stopped into that a few times and, meet a few people. And a lot of them are around today still. But I just felt like I wanted to do something different. Like let's go to a different spot every Wednesday.
And
Let's
support
also-
other, support other small
all the small
businesses.
businesses.
Yeah.
And I kind of stuck, and then 10 years later, 11 years later, it's like, from 4 people, with a max of, I think this year was over 200.
Oh yeah, when we did
When
one
we did our bike nights here in
with one broken
on the yard
biker.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's always been very inclusive of everyone. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you
Well,
ride or
Yeah.
age,
Exactly.
how old you are.
I was going to say, you guys, your bike nights always bring out the coolest bikes. I love going to your bike nights because there's neat stuff there and a real diverse crowd. And I think what you did this year with OBB once a month,
Oh, yeah,
what was it, the
those are-
last Wednesday?
Yeah. Every
the
third
month?
Wednesday of the
Every
month.
third
Yeah.
Wednesday. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
The vibe was good. Everybody seemed to be having a good time. I think
Yeah.
you guys have made good friends with Ashley,
Oh, yeah,
and
totally,
the
yeah.
whole thing worked out.
Yeah. No, those were really good.
Will that continue in
I
2024?
hope so, actually.
Yeah, she wants to.
I mean, if she wants us to, we would love to. I mean, with bike night, it is a lot of work, I will say.
of course.
But I mean, it's not hard work, but it is a lot of work. So
You
each year-
mentioned that to me at one time.
Each year, I always say we're going to cut back, and sometimes less is more. Or are people like getting sick of us? Like maybe we need to like chill out. But then every year, it kind of just we can't stop ourselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
just
think-
it's
From the bike
Yeah.
nights too, I mean, some of my good friends
Yeah, I was
I've
gonna
met
say.
through bike night. And also that's how Kickstart happened too.
yeah.
Because you get all these bikes. I remember this one night, like in 2015, we're outside of Broken City, and there was like 50 plus bikes. And me and Buddy were walking around. We're like this could be a bike show on its own.
Yeah.
So that's what sparked the Kickstart idea,
Amazing.
just to make it organized and all gathered in a neat venue. But yeah, even now, you get little groups of friends.
Oh yeah.
That's
We have a Kickstart couple. Oh, a bike night couple. I won't say their names just in
Yeah.
case. But yeah, like there's little cliques that like
You
they
can use
become
their
friends.
first
They
names.
become friends because they met
Yeah.
through bike nights,
Right.
which is really cool. So
yeah.
That's kind of why we
Right.
keep doing it, because some people even in the summer, they're like, I take Wednesday evenings off, or like I tell my wife that's my night. Like they look forward to bike nights, which is pretty cool.
It is cool.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
I know
So-
when I first started riding, like me and my 2 other friends we all kind of bought bikes at similar times. But like from my experience, when you buy when you're in a group of friends and you all buy bikes,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of over the next couple of years, people
Yeah.
wean themselves off of the bikes, and then you
yeah.
have the true bikers and
Yeah,
the people
yeah.
that just did it for the little bit.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I know for the longest time, I was always looking for a scapegoat to meet people, to
Yeah,
get
totally.
involved in the community. And you guys have realistically pioneered that in the city.
Well, when
So-
you're older too, it's hard to make friends, I think. I don't
Yes.
know. But
can.
having
Well, you-
something in common like a bike night is so easy. And yeah, you're right, some of our closest friends now, we met through bike night. I don't think we would have met them any other way, like outside of that probably.
Yeah, because that's the challenge as you get older, is you don't have the time anymore. Your time is now delegated to other things that will help
Exactly.
you live
Totally.
and
Yeah.
grow.
Oh my
So
God, you guys are breaking my heart
Oh,
here. Yeah. Getting older, yeah. Just wait.
We do bike nights for you.
there you go, Bruce.
Kenny, you mentioned a minute ago the Kickstart show,
Yeah.
and I think it's in the magazine. By the
Yeah.
way, everybody, Kickstart
Yes.
Mag, you want to get a copy of that. That
Yes.
is an awesome
Can we do a
local
shout out to the people
project.
that helped us with this?
shout out.
To
Go for
Brendan
it.
Stevens and Al Fitzgerald. They worked with us doing this. It was months of labor.
I can
But
imagine.
yeah, Brendan did all the photography, which is amazing, and then Al did the cover and helped with the design inside and everything.
It turned out fantastic.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
beautiful,
it's great,
yeah.
and it's
Oh,
such.
Ryan Bar.
I say Fitzgerald because I can't say her real last name. She's okay with it.
And Jen herself too, she's leaving herself out, but
Uh-huh.
between the 3 of them, they really,
Right.
this is our first shot at a magazine, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
mean-
such a tribute to the builders, and you know, so the Kickstart show, and I'd like you to tell us about that a little bit. It came from bike nights. You know, you said you were thinking, gee, this could be a show. You started in the art studio.
Actually, no.
you mean the first
The
show?
first show was in the airport hangar. Or
Oh,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that right?
Oh yeah, so
yeah.
the premise of Kickstart, okay, let's bring in all these custom bikes within the city or even surrounding areas. And the Kickstart name came from, you know, let's get people building all fall, winter, and then come spring, let's show it off. So we had our show initially in May. Usually by then you can ride.
Yeah.
So let's kickstart the season with a bike show off what you've built all winter, and then bike nights start up. So the first show would be inside our friend's private hangar, and we had about, I think, maybe 20 some entries.
Wow.
And then the second year would be at Springbank Airport, and we had 60 entries.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And then third to the next few years would be at the art gallery.
Yeah.
Christine Classens.
And at Springbank Airport, in a hangar there, or was
Yes.
it an outside show?
No.
It was
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
inside. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Kind of keep that vibe going. That warehouse, big open space.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
So then the
how
art
Kickstart-
studio,
Yeah.
And then here, well, then COVID happened, so then we just had it here for 2
Next
years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah. And then this year was the first year at the Pioneer.
and
bringing it
how'd that
downtown.
work out?
It was amazing. Yeah, we were.
I heard it was
yeah.
pretty good.
We were scared to move it downtown because obviously not everyone loves downtown. Not everyone loves parking downtown.
Yeah.
So we were nervous about that, but it actually was probably our most successful.
So how many
Yeah.
entries can you handle at the Pioneer?
This year we had 48.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would think maybe we might do 45 if we did it again.
Yeah, I
Just
think-
for spacing wise. Because bikes are big.
Because we used up
They take up a lot of room.
every
Yep.
corner.
So it was, it
I
was
mean,
tight.
I did stop by there this
Yeah.
year for that Kickstart
Yeah.
show at the Pioneer, and that was
It looked cool.
a really cool venue
Yeah,
for that. You had concrete floors, concrete
Yeah.
walls, multiple levels with
Yeah.
multiple bikes.
Yeah.
Like it was a very cool location
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
So that was a good choice.
And the
in my
city
opinion.
let us, they let us park on Stephen Ave, which is normally
Not
only
okay.
walking.
Yeah.
So they did give us that, which was pretty cool too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Do we have a date for 2024 yet?
Not yet, but I would assume it'll probably be similar to this year.
June?
Probably like around Father's
Mid
Day.
to late
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We're not doing it to kickstart the season anymore, just because the weather is so unpredictable here. It always snows.
May-
It always
May
snows.
and-
May long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
May and June are
yeah,
tough.
it's just
Yeah.
it's not a great time. And we want bikes outside, so that's kind of a show as well. So
Right. Right.
so we'll probably do it around the same time.
Right. I just want to mention the venue choice, the Pioneer,
Yes.
because we were building a Gold Wing for a gentleman named Chris Lewis,
Okay.
and then we would build him a CB 750. And then near the end of that build, he's like, "Hey, you guys should maybe check on MySpace for having the show." And we're like, "Yeah, what do you got?" and he's like, "Yeah, I own the Pioneer." I'm like, "Okay, well, that sounds expensive." So we checked it out, and you know, we made a deal, and yeah, I mean, what a great spot.
Yeah.
It was a great spot.
Yeah,
Because
it's a
normally it's one
beautiful
building, but
location.
that center part, they blew out the wall.
Yeah.
So we get
Oh.
2 buildings worth of
It's a
space.
heritage building. It's one of the few
Okay.
heritage
Yeah.
buildings left in Calgary
Yeah.
that they didn't tear down.
Yeah, shortly after the show, one of my best friends had their wedding there.
Oh, yeah.
And it
Oh,
looked
yes.
It's
completely
gorgeous.
different from
yeah.
what you guys
They
did.
do a lot of different stuff down
Yeah,
there.
they
Yeah.
sure do.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I
yeah.
know I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Hopefully, I'll
You'll
get
have
my
your
bike in
yeah,
there.
of
If you
course,
got
yeah.
space for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, yeah,
We'll-
for sure.
We'll see what we can
We
do.
usually open all the entries early 2024. Like we'll post
Okay.
about it and then start getting people. This year we're actually hoping to bring in some builders from outside of Alberta.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh,
the
nice.
goal.
How far do you think you're going to go?
I don't know, maybe.
So kind of an invitational thing? Is
Well,
that what you're...
It would just be nice to, you know, there's a couple of people in BC.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of people out east that would be cool. They just need a little heads up,
Yeah.
you know. So if we can get the right funding and that sort of thing, then
Kind of born free-esque.
just a little. It's hard in Canada. Canada's so freaking big. Like
Yeah.
it's not like you
Sure,
can just like,
it's so
you know,
spread apart.
drive
Exactly.
2 hours and you're in another state. Here it's
Yeah.
like you got to give people time. You
So
know, they need a few months to figure out their travel plans.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah.
in BC, BC has such a different and good motorcycle community, especially around the custom
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
scene. Like I lived in BC for a couple of years in Victoria,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like one of I guess I would call him more of an acquaintance. He was like a second or third place in Born Free.
Oh, cool.
And
yeah.
they started a shop out there out of a place called Wheelies.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I've
And-
heard of that place and I've never been there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
and funny enough, his shop is very similar to the name of your Kickstart show.
That's
so
right. What's
Ah,
it
yes.
called?
Kickstart Customs.
That's
Oh, really?
I follow them.
Yeah, so
No,
the reason why I
do.
brought that up
Yeah.
was I kind of was assuming
Yeah.
you guys were reaching out to him and see if
I
he was going
see
to be a
that. I
part
think
of
we
it.
follow. I see that all the time. I'm always like, what is this? Wait. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I've seen.
Oh,
Okay, we'll have to
maybe
reach out.
connect with him.
Yeah, because I mean, I plan to reach out to him and see
Yeah.
if we can do
Yeah.
an interview with him as
Yeah.
well. He's a really cool
Yeah.
dude. He really is. So
That's
I
amazing.
definitely recommend reaching out.
Okay.
Absolutely.
There's lots of amazing places all over Canada.
There really is.
Honestly,
know,
there is.
Earlier this year, 2023, I missed Kickstart because we were in Ontario and we were in Stratford, and I saw this flyer about a motorcycle show at Shakespeare, at the Shakespeare Brewing Company,
yeah.
Okay.
and had to do with Dice Magazine, 101st
Yeah.
edition launch, whatever it was. And I said to Karen, I said, you know, we should go check this out. Well, we went out there. I couldn't believe the
Yeah.
old school chopper scene.
They got a lot out there.
Very cool bikes, like such a neat deal. And one of the fellows that I met who actually invited me to come out in 2024 for his new show called the Bad Livin' Roadshow,
Oh, there
which
you
is
go.
going to be just north of Shakespeare, and he's got a super cool chopper with a metal flake purple paint job on it.
Right,
Anyway,
right.
cool guy. So
Yeah.
Lee is planning this Bad Livin' show, and I'm building a trailer right now because our plan is to go down there for Bad Livin'
Right.
in July,
Yeah.
come back here for a show,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
go back for Friday
yeah.
the 13th. So
Oh,
we're going to
yeah,
be back
yeah.
and forth
Right.
across the
Yeah.
country. But anyway,
Great, yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, we've done a lot of the shows down in the U.S. too. We'll often go down to check those shows out to get like, I wouldn't say like inspiration, but maybe inspiration. Is that what would you call it?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you
See
guys
what's
are
out
in
there.
Portland at least once a year, correct?
Yeah, we've done the Portland, the One Moto show. We've had a couple of bikes. This year we actually checked out Party at the Pen in Boise, Idaho, which is
Yeah.
probably the coolest show to date that I've seen. It's
What
in an
made-
old penitentiary, and it's all custom. Is it vintage choppers or just
Yeah,
choppers? Sort
Choppers.
of. Yeah.
There were some
Cool.
modern power plants and
Yeah.
some builds, but yeah, most of them were like vintage
Right.
Harleys, some Triumphs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of just makes you like, when you go see that and all those people on their bikes, you're like, I want to do that. Like, we need to do this. We should figure something out. We should build a bike together. That's what I said last time. Me and you would build a bike together.
It just spirals.
Yeah. Oh no, this place might catch fire if we try to build something
Well,
together.
we'll be watching for Kickstart.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Jen, is Moto Social.
Oh yes.
Because
yeah.
that seemed to be more your thing than Kenny's. But Ken, you were
Yeah.
helping out with it. But
I mean, I would say it's definitely still trying to build momentum in Calgary. I think because there is so many bike nights that already happen here, and there's bike groups that already do their own thing, it's hard to throw in another aspect to a bike night. I mean, we've been doing bike nights for so long. Adding that to it wasn't that hard for us. So, I mean, it doesn't take a lot, but I know in other places it's quite huge. Like, where did they have like 20 something places internationally that do them?
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
7
Australia.
different countries.
yeah, it's
and
insane.
25
Yeah.
different cities, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them are huge.
Right.
But we reached out to them when we first had heard about the Moto Social, because we did bike nights. So I was like, oh, this would be cool. Like, we should join up together. So we kind of got introduced that way, but it would be probably like 5 or 6 years until we would be part of it.
Right.
So it's just
Good.
friends of friends of friends. Kind of like the circle.
Yeah.
Like, we knew somebody who knew somebody who knew them, and kind of said, hey, you guys should work together.
So you'll stick with it for next year.
I think we'll see what they say. I mean,
And it's the last Wednesday
the last
of every
Wednesday
month.
of every
right?
month, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we kind of just piggybacked off our own bike nights, honestly.
Just with time
Yeah.
constraints, I mean.
Yeah,
Well, like I
So-
say,
yeah,
IFK bike nights seem to be the seed of so many things.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on that
Yeah.
stem from.
Totally.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's cool.
So we'll see. I mean, if they ask us, we'll chat. I mean, I chatted with you about maybe getting you and your buds to help out with the Moto Social.
Absolutely.
And making, you know,
Absolutely.
adding a little more pizzazz than just
Yeah.
us.
See, you guys have inspired me
Yeah.
because this is all about community. This, you know, it's
Yeah.
we're all in this together.
Totally.
Yeah, and you guys did bring up like it's hard to start these kinds of things because there are other people doing it around the
Totally,
city in
yeah.
such a short time frame that we have in this city. But I would say the most important thing that I can see that you guys have done over the last few years is not to try and do specifically your own thing.
No.
You're reaching out to the community, you're
Yeah.
trying to collaborate and bring everybody together rather than just trumping everybody else and be like, we're the bike night.
Yeah, no.
You're like, come
No, no,
together,
no.
let's all do it together.
Totally.
And that,
I
in
think
my opinion, is great.
we find sometimes you get a little bit of attitude with certain things like that. That's just not our style, honestly. I think there's enough for everybody. everybody can be friends. I don't know. I always
I
say that.
agree.
Maybe I'm
Bikers
naive.
and attitude? Come on.
I always. I mean,
No, I think like
yeah,
we all ride bikes for the same
totally.
feeling, same
Yeah.
reasons.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter what you're riding
Yeah.
or what you're doing with your bike. It's same idea.
100%.
So why not just get together, let's hang out, let's chat, and maybe get some cross inspiration. Like,
Yeah.
I like what you did there with your bike, and
Yeah, from scooters to choppers to baggers
Yeah.
to whatever you want.
Totally.
Like,
yeah, it's all you can always appreciate the work
100%.
put into whatever style of bike. So
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, but let's be honest. All the cool kids are riding old school choppers. But that's,
we all know
I mean,
that. I do have a question for you guys. Sorry, go ahead.
Before you go, you have referred to your bike, which has the same engine as the one you crashed, right?
Well, you,
it is the engine.
The
From
engine
crash,
is
yeah.
the same, okay. But you referred to it as both a chopper and a bobber. And I
Yeah.
want to know from an expert fabricator like yourself, what is the difference between a chopper and a bobber, and what is your bike?
So, initially I called it a bobber. I mean, the premise of a bobber is a bike that's very stripped down. You're bobbing parts off of it, right?
Right.
Keep it very simple, 2 wheels, an engine, a seat, and handlebars, like very minimal. And what defines a chopper? You're chopping up a bike to build something custom. And I've chatted with some very old school people and some newer guys doing custom builds too. And I mean, chopper, bobber, it crosses over. It's almost synonymous. But for so long, people, what do you perceive as a bobber?
Well, like my experience, and from what I've read and
Yeah.
from what I've seen, like the bobber term was actually the first term. It was before chopper. Bobbers
Right.
came from when all of the British bikes came over to North America, and they were racing, and all the British bikes were
Yeah.
destroying all the American bikes
Yeah.
in races and everything.
Yeah.
So then the Americans decided, okay, we're losing and our motors aren't powerful enough, so let's start stripping the hell out of these.
Right.
And they just made them stubbier, shorter, lighter,
Yeah.
all of the above, and that was a bobber.
that's what I picture.
And then,
Yeah.
in the chopper side of things, it dived into, like you said, a little bit more custom, like not just cutting the fender, making things shorter, stubbier, a little bit more nimble,
Yeah.
but extending things, making things a little bit more extravagant. Like for myself, I don't know about you, Bruce, but for me, I see a chopper as in something that's similar to my bike. When you have a Triumph bike with lower handlebars,
Yeah.
lower suspension, I see that as a bobber.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have like my bike, which is not even close to as nice as yours, but mine is extended in the front,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's extended in a few other areas, and
Right.
that's what I call a chopper. Would you kind of agree to its
No, I
extent?
mean, initially that's exactly how I saw it too, based on those styling cues. And I think it does for 98% of people out there.
And I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Oh no, I mean,
Well, maybe I did actually.
people ask all the time, right?
it's,
So
it's been a real debate. It seems this past year we've had a lot of interaction on it, and it's funny how some people have strict definitions, right? I read something, I Googled it, and I read something where a guy said, bobbed rear fender, solo seat, no front fender, and he had it just
Yeah.
nailed. This is what a bobber is.
Right.
Then we went to go to the motorcycle show this year, and the World of Wheels,
yeah,
and we asked what the differentiation was going to be, and the guy organizing it said, if it has a modified front end, it's a chopper. And everything else is bobber. And we went, whoa, okay, that's pretty
It's
wide
interesting.
open.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's people have different definitions
Right.
and different expectations.
see, I think it's silly to be so dry cut about the definitions.
I agree.
I mean, even those two bikes sitting there, they're heavily customized, and they've been cut up in some way to get to that form. So whether you call it a bob or a chopper, there's crossovers.
100%.
Because both definitions apply to both words.
100%.
Sorry, to what's done on the bike.
Yeah.
So I see it as I don't want to use those words anymore, to be honest.
I like it.
It's a custom bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Don't
guess
make it
that's a
so
good way.
inclusive. Make it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think, I mean, it's good you asked that question, because for a while there, I haven't been saying, oh, that's a chopper, that's a bobber, or that's a cafe racer. Because even in those categories too, you get crossovers.
100%.
That's more of a cafe, but with a lot of brat style too.
Yeah.
And then you get these creations that are very chopper looking, like very flashy metallic paint. You got your flames, but then it's like it's got knobby tires, and it kind of looks like nothing you can classify really.
Yeah.
So,
You're so true.
I say it's a custom.
Yeah.
But what great conversation, right?
yeah.
Oh, that's a tracker. Oh no, that's not a tracker. That's a cafe. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, good. That was fun. Now back to your question.
One of my favorite questions that I always like to ask, like in an interview or just generally speaking to anybody, but what is your, and I'll ask both of you this, so both of you can give me an answer, or maybe the answer is integrated into one, but what is your favorite story regarding motorcycles, whether it's a ride, whether it's a trip, whether it's starting the business? What would that be for you guys?
Favorite story? Oh no, don't put me on the spot. Oh God.
Story or experience, or
story, experience, whatever. Something that brought you guys major enjoyment to for this.
The story of an experience.
The story of an experience. I don't know. Well, for me, I don't come from a motorcycle world. When I'm from Newfoundland originally, I moved here like 17 years ago. I met Kenny 13 years ago. At the time, I thought motorcycles were just Harley Davidson. I didn't know anything. Honestly, I didn't. I was like, oh, Harley, sure. And then I met Kenny, and he picked me up on your brother's Triumph T100 or the Thruxton. And that was the first time I had ever seen anything outside of a Harley Davidson, honestly. It was red, it came rolling up, he had like the helmet on, the Halcyon goggles, and I was like, what in the hell is happening here? Like, I just never seen anything like it. And honestly, that was like my first time that I was like, shit, there's a whole world probably out there.
So Kenny rolling up on that bike in that outfit.
I mean, so I go that far, but I mean, that was really my first experience with a motorcycle outside of what the stereotype in my head of like leather, just the whole thing.
Totally.
So literally, that was my first experience with motorcycles, and after that, I kind of love the whole culture behind it. So that's kind of my favorite experience. I guess it was the gateway to where I am now.
Absolutely, it was. Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kenny?
And yours is the same. It was me on the other side.
I mean, this might sound lame, but for me, like, I was never into motorcycles, and I took a riding course with a friend. I was doing my internship for engineering, and so you're working full time. The evenings you're off, and just started this motorcycle course that was a week long, and I knew nothing about motorcycles. Didn't know how to ride one or operate one. And after that first day, that evening of riding, I'm like, I really, really like this. And then after the course, I'm like, okay, I need to buy something. And right away, I wanted a Triumph, just the way they looked and the way they sound. And I was prepared to purchase like an old, like a 70-something Tiger. So doing some research, and I'm like, oh, Triumph, they're still making motorcycles right now. and I would go down to Blackfoot and check them out, and they had the Bonnevilles that re-released in 2001. So I did some research on that, and I ordered in 2007 T100, and it was riding that thing for the first time, like a full-size motorcycle. Like the feeling was so good, so therapeutic, and I just loved it. So for me, that feeling still to this date, even on a same bike or even on some other bikes, it's always been the same feeling, same intensity. So for me, it resonates that way.
Cool.
And I think when I started building my first bike, the whole process of going through that, just like in the garage for hours, just cutting and making pieces, brackets, wiring. Even that in itself is very, very enjoyable.
Right.
Because nothing else is interfering, and you're just working.
Yeah.
So, and it's still the same here when I do get to work in peace.
So there's another interesting question. Do you still work on motorcycles when you go home after work?
Rarely. I'm very set up here at the shop.
Right.
So if I do work on stuff, it'd be here. I'll do some simple stuff at home. Fairly set up there too, but for convenience sake, I'll just do it here now. Yeah.
I think that's the right call, in my opinion. Like it's always fine and dandy to have your hobbies of sorts that you do in your spare time outside of sitting on the couch and watching TV.
Yeah.
But it is important to separate work from just your normal life.
Well, you guys have a family, and you got
Exactly.
Dax you got to take care of in the evening, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There goes one.
What's
There
that?
goes one. You
What's
know what?
happening?
Give me a second. We'll put a cut in. Okay, quick pit stop, change the battery, we're good to go.
Okay,
All right.
we're back.
So where were we at? Do you remember?
We just finished off their one of their favorite stories each of what.
Yes,
what's
and
up in the
family and
community.
working at home afterwards and that kind of stuff. So now, if I can, I'd like to switch topics over to the Calgary Motorcycle Film Festival.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to say thank you guys. Awesome job. That is just a great time,
That is
a
a good
great
time,
event. I don't know where you guys keep coming up with ideas and the energy to implement and all of this stuff, but really appreciate that you do it. Tell us about the Motorcycle Film Festival and where it's going and where it came from and what the deal is.
So you,
Jen?
well, well, there is a guy in Toronto who started in Toronto with the films. What was that, maybe 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah. Caius, yeah.
Yep. I actually, in the back of my head, when I saw it, I was like, I need to get him to come out here. I need him to come out here. But then, the whole COVID stuff happened and whatnot. We ended up getting in contact with each other, and he wanted to bring it to Calgary, Toronto, and Montreal, we're very lucky. And someone had mentioned our name. It's friends of friends of friends.
Nice.
Which is really good. So we just worked with him directly on all the films that he was picking. So we helped pick the films specifically for Calgary. We do obviously the promotion with him. We picked the location, which is at the Plaza, which is that's a heritage building as well, which is totally our vibe. We work with the after party and all that sort of thing. So although he started the idea himself in Toronto, we definitely have taken it on with him, and probably next year we'll be doing it on our own. Like he won't be
Right.
coming out this way to help guide us, sort of thing. So next year will probably be the first year that we're the sole ones running it here. which is really cool.
Because you guys did, like I say, you did a great job. Karen and I were there. The films were awesome.
Yeah, they're amazing.
The whole evening was
Yeah.
great. The location. Kenny, you did a super job as MC there. You nailed it, buddy. The whole
Yeah.
thing came off without a hitch.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. And I was there with the VJMC,
Yes.
Vintage
They're big
Japanese Motorcycle
supporters
Club.
of that too.
Great people.
Totally.
Man, what
Yeah.
a great group. Friendly and
Yeah.
inviting and everything. We went with them. Everybody had a great time.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
really,
we need more
really good.
artsy things like that for the motorcycle community, I think. Because
Totally.
it can be, pretty the same stuff. Lots of poker
Well-
runs, lots of bike night.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that stuff, which is great. I don't, all of it's wonderful, but it's nice to switch it up and,
Yeah, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, and this is one of my, it's not a pet peeve because it's not a peeve, but
Yeah.
it's one of my pet ideas or
Yeah.
whatever. And when I met Karen, I used to tell her, it's art. And she always said to me, I don't get it. Like, what do you mean it's art? And I would look at a rat rod
Yeah.
and, with a shotgun as the shifter
Oh, yeah.
in the thing or something like that.
Yeah.
She'd say, that's stupid. And I'd say, no, it's not stupid. It's art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started working in the garage and building the bikes that I have so far, which isn't a ton, but
Yeah.
there's a couple there. And doing the paint and figuring out what pieces would go with other pieces. And finally, she said to me, I get it now. It is art.
Totally.
It takes thought and it's creative and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I think you guys probably see motorcycles the same way as it's not transportation. It is transportation,
Yeah.
but that's
can be
not
both.
the main thing.
Right.
It's art. It's an expression of individuality, and
Yeah. Well, for sure. it
I'm
is.
hoping we can get more people to see that. And I love it when you talk about the community being more artsy, because we just need to recognize that
Totally.
that's what we are.
Yeah, Calgary does have that there. It's just kind of have to push people a little.
Just gotta tap
Like, it's
into it.
okay.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
okay.
when we did our kickstart at the Christine Klassen Gallery,
Yeah.
like we were pairing the builds with the artwork she had up, and when people connected
The dots.
the painting or the
Yeah.
whatever with the bike, they're like, "Oh wow, this what a
Yeah.
nice pairing!"
Yeah.
It's like your wine and cheese,
Exactly. That's so cool that you guys did that.
Yeah.
In all honesty,
Just,
that's
just
amazing.
trying to
Oh.
expand your people's perception.
And I have photos of Tracy's Kawasaki, the one I built for,
Oh, yeah.
with the painting and on
That's
the
right.
pedestal
You had
and
your bike in
everything.
there, yeah.
right,
the-
yes.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And Tracy has pictures of it at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
She still raves about my bike was in a show.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
real good. Did you have anything else?
I think we pretty much touched on everything else. I was going to pretty much give the rapid fire round to you since I took it the last
I'm going to
time.
do a rapid fire because I'm looking forward to this one.
Uh-oh.
And we have, it's funny, we've changed the name, but the podcast we recorded last week is going to have the old name of Lightning Round, but come out after this. Anyway, we'll get it. It'll be rapid fire after the next couple episodes here. But I do want to say to you guys, and I just kind of said it a minute ago, but thank you for everything you do, your vision, your shop, all the stuff that you're doing with the community. You guys have really, and I know you're not, instrumental in the community because you want recognition. You do it because you love it, and we all see that. So keep going with everything, Kickstart, Film Festival, all that stuff. And if you need help, we're all here.
Totally.
We'd all, and I think I'm speaking for everybody who's going to be listening or watching, who's in the Calgary area at least. We'd love to help you out. We'd love to support you
Thank you.
because it's
Yeah, we
really, really
appreciate
good.
it.
It is.
So now we're going to move to something that Mac and I think is fun, and probably nobody else does. But we call it, used to call it lightning round. We call it rapid fire. So we're just going to throw, or I am in this case, going to throw just some Very simple questions, actually. Yes, no, one-word answers. We'll see where.
One word.
We'll see what happens.
One word.
It may stimulate a little conversation, or it may not. We'll see where it goes. And these are for both of you, so you can both give us an answer to the same question. So, favorite beverage?
Oh, God. I mean, mine is just alcohol in general. I like beer, wine. I'll use that as a blanket term.
Okay.
I don't have a problem, but I do like to have a drink or two.
Well, I mean coffee for sure.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Black espresso.
Right on. Favorite color?
Mine's
That's a
turquoise.
hard one.
Mine's turquoise.
Oh, turquoise.
Mm-hmm.
That's very specific. That's good. I like that.
Have you done any turquoise bikes yet?
No, we haven't actually.
Kenny, come on, man.
That's
get
a
on
good
it.
idea. We should.
Black's not a color, right?
I do like black. too.
That was what I said, so
Yeah.
you can do what you want.
And what I told Mac is black is the presence of all colors.
Yes.
So yes, black is certainly a color.
It was green, but now, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
White walls. Yes or no?
I like white walls. On the right bike or car.
Depends on the
Yeah.
bike.
Yes.
That's not really a yes,
Yes.
or no answer, but I'll let you get away with
I
it.
like white walls, but
Yeah, I do too.
But it really depends on the bike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I-
Best motorcycle ride you've ever taken, and scooters count too.
Okay. I don't get to do rides very often.
And we're talking geographically, like where's the coolest place you've ridden?
I would say 2013, riding to Portland
Mm.
and Seattle. That's
Right.
probably
Okay.
still the best ride or trip to date.
Really?
Okay.
Um,
Cool. Yeah, that'd be a good ride,
Yeah.
for sure. Spokes or mags?
Wires, folks.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Spokes?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Cake or pie?
Oh, I hate cake. Pie.
Pie. I pick pie
I
as
pick
well.
pie.
By process of
Yeah.
elimination, pie. Yeah, there you go. And this one's funny because it goes back to what we talked about. Chopper or bobber?
You go
I
first.
don't know. Well, now I don't know the difference.
In your,
because you said
in
they're
your
the same.
interpretation, chopper or bobber?
Chopper. I think chopper's more applicable.
Okay.
I like chopper. I like chopper too. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite motorcycle brand?
I knew that was coming. Jen, go ahead.
I mean,
And do not allow my shirt to influence your answer.
I was gonna say. I mean, I like Royal Enfield personally, just because they've
Mm.
always
Good
stayed
one.
the same, kind of like that
Yeah.
look. I like that look, so I'll say Royal Enfield.
If I could pick one brand, it'd be Triumph.
Figured.
Yep.
Yeah. Good choice.
Virtue or sin?
This is.
I believe in virtue, but what happens might not be that.
I mean, I think sin is a little more fun, so I'll pick sin.
Go. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Texting or talking?
Texting.
I'd rather talk.
Okay.
You can't type as fast as you can just say it.
I'm the same way as you, man. Totally. Always call over text.
And I'm the one that doesn't answer, so you just end up texting.
Perfect.
Boxers or briefs?
Isn't Saks a hybrid of that?
I think socks are briefs, man.
I think they're briefs.
Are they?
That's what I got too.
Yeah.
That's what I would
Then
say.
it'd be briefs.
It's chopper bobber thing, right? We don't know how to define
Yeah. Saks is what, yeah.
That's a tough one for you, Jen. I think.
these. And one last one. Favorite holiday?
Oh, Christmas. Oh, well, yeah, Christmas for me. Our kid loves Halloween, so that's
Holidays.
like, yeah. Like Christmas.
I guess it'll be Christmas
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
when I have to take time off.
Cool. All right. Go ahead, do your thing.
Well, that wraps up the rapid fire round. So thank you guys so much for having this interview with us and for just having a conversation. I love the shop. I love you guys. I want to support you guys as much as humanly possible. So yeah, thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this with us,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can do
Thanks
some
for
more stuff
having
in the
us,
future.
yeah.
So yeah, feel free to like, to subscribe. Please, we're on our podcast as well as our YouTube channel. So come check us out whenever you feel like you want to do so. But come check out Kenny and Jen here at Ill Fated. They will always take great care of you. I can speak from personal experience, as can Bruce.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yes, thank
Great.
you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks for having us.
Perfect.
Then we-